Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bruce McDonald, and this is the Telemanca Review. I am still a little bit congested. Very weird thing, man. But, I believe this is more of a karma situation than a health situation. So I just have to go through it. And I understand why. So, that's always good. Tonight I'm going to do a very simple but powerful podcast that I'm tentatively titling The Unyielding Power of Love. Now, some of you folks, you may say to yourself, how does old Bruce figure out all this stuff? How does old Bruce see the world so clearly? I'll explain it to you. The world is always right in front of us. The truth of anything and everything is always right in front of us. What prevents us from seeing it correctly and truly is the state of our unfoldment as a being. And that being is in a particulate relationship with the overbeing, God, if you will. Although, I'm still not so comfortable using that word. I use it a lot because, believe me, there's no word that can take its place. You start to sound like an asshole if you start to make up words to try and take its place. But it's just got to be one of the most ill-defined words in language. And it is ill-defined because every single unique human perception, incarnate, meaning every human being, is going to have a unique frequency and a unique unfoldment level and a unique definition of God. So 8 billion of us, 8 billion gods. You see? That's why it's so hard to make the word meaningful. It's nearly impossible. I can tell you quite definitively when the rabbis refer to God, which they call Hashem, love and respect toward that, they do not mean what I mean when I say God. My definition of God is Catholic in many ways because it's my foundation engagement with the language. I should also take a moment to point out, because it passed through the transom of my mind, that when I prance about verbally on the Talamanca Review and denigrate religions, let's be honest, as I'm wont to do, it does not for a moment mean that there could not be individual expressions of God within that religion that are true, admirable, and learnable or teachable. You can learn something from it, whether it be a learned rabbi or a Christian brother or sister in a monastic or contemplative life that has completely surrendered, doesn't have any idea what's going on with the politicos at the capital city of their religion, doesn't understand how their religion goes in and gets involved in politics, like the Archbishop's dinner before the presidential election in New York, doesn't understand the military dispensation of the Jesuits or certain rabbinical orders in their dispensation of magic, chaos magic, black magic, what have you. They simply practice their religion to perfection and come to light and grace. What an odd time to suddenly cough. Some COVID level stuff, this cold. This is not a normal cold. And those individuals always, always, always have my respect. Whether Jewish, Catholic, Anglican, Presbyterian, Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, Evangelical, Tibetan Buddhist, Hindu yogi like Yoganda. In fact, you could even say that that's my path. My path is studying the great expressions of love in the world and asking myself how they came to know so much about reality and love, and see if they have any advice for me and how I can incorporate that advice into my system or path. So tonight we're talking about the unyielding power of love. I said that the truth is always right in front of us. What blinds it, what obfuscates it, what occults it, what hides it, what obscures it, is our own mind. Until the being, your true being, yourself, this self they talk about in self-realization, your true being, the non-dual entity, the non-dual being that sits at the center of your existence, physical and otherwise, spiritual and physical. Until that being has learned to express itself a little bit in the world, and which means it becomes aware. It becomes aware of itself. You become aware of it. The personality starts to slip away. The ego starts to slip away, and you go, oh my God, I exist. Now, if you listen to that last sentence and you think about it, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense as a thought. It makes complete sense as a realization. Okay? So the ability to apprehend truth is the ability to realize things and circumvent the mind. The mind's not trying to be a dick. The mind's job is to protect you. But it's like a psychotic mother that doesn't want to let you grow up. Yeah. It doesn't want to let you grow up. Oh, you can't look at that. That's too horrible. Right? And then there's this other thing that happened in the 20th century. It's very cultic, very cultish. And it's this culture of manifestation and positive thinking. You see your goal, and like a lion on the Serengeti plains, you see the antelope you want and you charge. And you do not deviate from the task of trying to get that gazelle. That's your lunch. That's your dinner. And these people, and I don't care for these people much. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. You know why? Hate is the biggest energy leech in the world. It just, poof. It's like having a hole in your gas tank. You're just losing energy all the time when you hate. It's the stupidest thing you could possibly do, hate. So I don't do it. Why do it? It's stupid. But certain things irritate me a little bit, you know. But these people, who am I talking about here? Well, I mean, pretty much any billionaire. Okay? Now I'm going to say something now that's going to maybe sound a little bit, I don't know, Karl Marxy, communist or socialist, but that's not where I'm coming from. I believe in meritocracy. Okay, I believe we're all given certain talents. I believe that we all have a certain fate. I don't believe in the radical materialism and finitism of the communist philosophy, which is insane. You see, communism is not just the denial of religious culture. Communism is the enforcement of material reality as the only reality that can be known, and the designation of all ideas that other realities can be known and experienced as counter-revolutionary and insane. So, bullet to the head or a gulag, one or the other. So I believe in meritocracy. However, I don't believe in unsound money, which we've had since 1971 or 2, when Nixon took us off the gold standard. I think people who make a goal and a profession out of making money are the craziest people on the planet. And they're running a cult. And in this context, in this regard, in this definition, we could say that Donald Trump is a cult leader. And it's a kind of anti-communist cult. But these meritocracy, freedom, let me do my thing, let me be an entrepreneur people who think the old America is going to come back don't realize that the whole system's been rigged since they gave all the cheddar to the baby boomers. Basically, the system was allowed to operate the way it operated for basically one generation, and that's the baby boomers. And I think, this is just my personal thinking, I think that was an arrangement made at invisible levels of governance and finance, meaning levels of governance and finance that we don't vote on, we don't see in parliaments or houses of Congress, but nonetheless exist and have great sway and power over the world. I think the Western middle class, the children of the veterans of World War II, were the recipients of a kind of lottery ticket by this controlling group on the planet and said, these people served us well. They fought and they died and they changed the world in the direction we wanted it to go in the 20th century through World War I and World War II. And we are going to honor their sacrifice, and we are going to make life full of opportunities for their offspring. And their offspring were the baby boomers. You could say to a lesser extent that contract extends to my generation, which is Gen X. It starts to wane with the millennials significantly. It starts to become incredibly problematic with Gen Z. And you can see quite clearly now that the entire system was engineered socially and financially. And so the myth of the great people, the myth of American and Western exceptionalism is just that, a myth. And that's something that a lot of people are having a tremendous difficulty coming to terms with. I'm okay with it. You want to know when I figured out that it was a myth? 92 to 94 when I lived in Taiwan. And I saw what truly, truly exceptional people are like. And the Taiwanese in that generation were exceptional, remarkable people. The schoolwork the kids do. By the time a kid in Taiwan is 9 or 10 years old, they have an 80-hour week. They're like Wall Street bankers. I won't go into all the details. But I realized in that moment that the Chinese were going to take over the world. Came back and told people in 94. Shouted it. Said it at every restaurant round table I ever ended up at in the first year I was back in 94, 95. Said it to anyone who would listen. Chinese are going to take over the world. Oh, that Bruce. He's been heavily influenced by his foreign experience. He speaks Mandarin now, you know. Maybe he's become one of them. No. I'm a very accurate observer. It's a freaky talent I have. Observation. And you could see very, very clearly these people were going to take over the world. American exceptionalism, the unyielding power of love, the end of the extended contract of good fortune by the global controllers to the Western world. Footnote that, I'm going to go make some coffee. Okay, back with a lovely fresh black coffee. Loves my coffee. So you try to figure it out. More and more I find myself contemplating why people can't see the things I see. And I think it's because they don't have enough love. Because love will answer all your questions. Love is not what people think it is. It has been, like most words, sacred, bastardized. Love is the life-giving force. Love is life. They are synonyms. Life is love. Love is life. Love, life. You could throw God into that. Love, life, God. They're all the same thing. And we just use different words to delineate certain aspects of things, to give further detail in certain directions when trying to discuss the mysteries of fate and destiny in life. For those of us who exist beyond the material plane, which of course is not the Chinese Communist Party. Love will transcend death. Love will show you that life is bigger than death. And once that secret has been given to you, you are a new creature. It's like the man dies and a God is born, because you're no longer fearing death. To have any idea what a liberation that is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the destruction of all fear of mortality. You know, the body has its own consciousness, as I have articulated many times on the Talamanca Review. And the body wants to keep living as a separate entity, an entity separate from the spirit, the soul, the being. It doesn't want to die. And so it will flood your brain with fear when the idea of death comes up. Just like your mind will be flooded with impulse and desire when you're 14, 15, 16 years old. You see a very attractive, very beautiful woman, because beauty is still a part of the outlook at that age. The eyes, the being of the woman. Not so much beyond about 17, 18, the way the porn works on the kids these days, and that's kind of sad. But we can only hope that beauty returns. So that's when you start to perceive correctly. Is when you start to untie some of the knots in the human condition. And the biggest knot in the human condition is death. Once you get that settled to a satisfactory level, you can start to live properly. Once you live properly, you will begin worshiping God, because life and God are the same thing. God gives life, therefore life is God. Doesn't matter whether you approach my language literally, metaphorically, figuratively, allegorically. In this context, it doesn't matter. You'll arrive at the same perceptual point no matter what road you take, what path you take, what footpath you take. You're going to arrive at the same point. Life, love, God. And that's how I see the world correctly. And it's important to see the world correctly. It's very important. Do you want to know how important it is? They literally spend billions and billions, if not trillions of dollars Two and a half week cold. Some COVID level shit here. Excuse me. Pardon me. Life, love, God. Billions, if not trillions of dollars are spent to control your mind and your perception. That's how important perception is. If it's not that important, why is everything DARPA's been doing since the end of World War II to mindfuck you? You can't spend 30 minutes a day meditating to understand your consciousness, even in context of the knowledge that they're spending trillions of dollars to fuck you over because they have a more thorough understanding of how your mind works than you do. It's the very definition of lazy. You see, when you start to perceive correctly, all of the evidence is in front of you. This has been a DARPA-run world since World War II. And DARPA, I would suggest to you, is mainly rooted in occult weaponry. Occult weaponry. And the progress we've been in through the 20th century and until now is about how they are going to unveil the results of their technology without telling us exactly what that technology is and creating a new narrative of control that replaces the old narratives of control rooted in the Abrahamic systems in the West, and I suppose you could say to a certain degree in the Hindu system in the East. And this new occult technology will be able to manifest imagination. Will literally be able to pull things out of other dimensions and bring them into this dimension. And they'll create all kinds of stories. Oh, that's a demon. Oh, that's an extraterrestrial. Oh, that's an interdimensional. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. It's just something that wasn't a part of this dimension, was brought into this dimension and was able to materialize in this dimension. And the technology will be bi-directional, but they won't want us to know that at first. What do I mean by bi-directional? You too will be able to go to other dimensions and physically materialize there. Bi-directional. You see, this is the great leap forward. It's going to be a new human being that lives in full consciousness of the three-dimensional reality and the fourth-dimensional reality simultaneously, and fuses them into one living experience, which basically explains every fucking extraterrestrial out there. Your Nordics, your reptilians, your insectoids, all of them. Your Palladians, all of them. This is the secret technology. And call it whatever you want. 0-point technology, if you like the old science jargon that Uncle Cliff has cooked up. 0-point technology. If you like the old pseudo-governmental textbook rhetoric that Stephen Greer, the Kabbalist, has cooked up. If you know. But it's basically a natural human expression. Now, I don't think they had any choice. I think they would much rather prefer to control the three-dimensional race. I think a lot of the technology that's coming out now, and what they're calling transhumanism is not an expansion of what we are, it's a limitation of what we are, it's a clamping down. I think they're trying their level best to prevent this multidimensional human from appearing on the scene. It's too late, though. I mean, all it takes is a certain information flow. And that started in 1997 when every home started to get the internet. And then people, you know what the internet did? People say it's very negative, and there are aspects of it that are very negative. But the internet is a contemplation factory, and contemplation is a cousin to meditation. It's not thinking per se. It's just reflecting on things and invoking the emotions of awe and wonder, which, by the way, the plagiarist and pedophile Albert Einstein called two of the most astounding and understated emotions, awe and wonder. And in this regard, I agree with the phony, the plagiarist and the pedophile. Awe and wonder are extremely understated emotions. And you know why? You can't sell anything with awe and wonder. You sell things with tits and ass and excitement and stimulation and appealing to the ego. Hey, you drive this car. Chicks will be all over you, man. You get that boob job. You're going to level up, girl. You're going to marry a millionaire just like Carrie Bradshaw on Sex and the City. You know, it all plays to our ego. It's a bunch of stupid bullshit. Love is the realization that you exist and you cannot cease existing. And that every state of being that you go through, joyful or torturous, is largely by your own hand. And so love is what ultimately allows you to see the truth of what's going on around you. Because love knows that you will be able to handle it. You won't have a mental breakdown. Because you have the corollary. All right? So if the reality, the social and political and evolving reality of our time, our zeitgeist, is extremely negative, the mind will create sensors. The only thing that can break those sensors is the soul. The soul is your being. And those sensors will be broken and allow you to have realizations. And realizations are just literally going from not knowing something to knowing something. Oh my God. They're trying to kill us. There's no way this could all be a coincidence. It could be that angry God, Yahweh. He could be punishing you, not DARPA. Remember the Bible, the floods, the famines, the pestilence, the war. It's the Yahweh. It's the Yahweh. Not a bunch of inbred pedophile fucks at DARPA. With 180 IQs and the sadistic nature of 8-year-old boys laying magnifying glasses to ants in the sun. And that's all it is at the end of the day. It's nothing any more spooky than that. Don't let any rabbi or Nazi tell you different, and you'll often find them in the same salons. So the first two groups to realize this unified third and fourth dimensional reality and the abilities of living this way and the new contextual reality of living this way clearly were the Zionists and the Nazis. Right? Go back and read The Devil in Us. If you haven't read The Devil in Us, read The Devil in Us. Do me a favor. Throw me a bone. Do yourself a favor. Try to understand what's going on around you. read the book or the Yahweh will punish you. The Yahweh will punish you. Ah! See clearly. Love is life. Life is God. Love is God. It's that simple. That's all I got. I mean, I could go on, but I'm not 100%. I'm yeah, I'm like that. I don't really feel bad. Like, I have most of my energy. I'm walking around the mountain and stuff. Started Bob's house today. Got the bulldozer in and leveled it all off. It was quite something. The Unyielding Power of Love. I'm Bruce McDonald, and this has been the Talamanca Review.